Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What did I tell you for so many times? I told you many things, but one is that Russians are consistent. What does that mean? Good or bad? The Russians are consistent. That is, when they tell you they will do something, they will do it. Good or bad? And I always say, if they tell you they're going to punch you in the face, they will do it. If they tell you they're going to give you $1, they will give it to you. As I said, good or bad. Now, the Russians are very serious in undermining the dollar, the petrodollar, the world's currency, reserve currency. And if they succeed on doing that, we, the serfs here on the American plantation, are screwed. Why? Because we must start producing something. We can't just produce and provide services to one another. You know what I mean? Or massages or things like this. We have to actually build things. And that's going to be bad for at least 51% of our society. Now, because that 51% of society cannot talk that much, have to actually get it on and work. Anyway, so let that to the side. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about the BRICS, Lavrov, Russia currency. Yesterday, I made a video with Lavrov stating, Lavrov being the Russian foreign minister, very smart guy, very diplomatic guy, I like him. He's very intelligent. That's how a diplomat is. Like India's Dr. Jai Shankar, these guys are good diplomats. Now, I have an article here that will tell us the next step. Yesterday, I discussed this aspect, and this is Lavrov said that BRICS is working to boost payments in national currencies as dollar unreliable. This is the video I made yesterday. This was coming from Sputnik. Now I have a better, let's put it this way, piece of news, and that is again from Sputnik, again, and this is the title, Lavrov, BRICS mulling own currency. Now, that's bad. That's bad for the dollar. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but I don't think, as I said, Russians do not just talk. They are consistent, and I'm pretty sure this is something is already running. It's not like, oh, now you got to start warming up on the sidelines of the field. No, they are already in the game. I'm suspecting that they already communicated and they set things already, I was about to say on fire. They already have things set in place. It's running. They're just gonna sprint from here on. That's how I got to know the Russians. They're not just, oh my God, what am I gonna do right now? If you remember, I'm going to discuss this article in a minute, but I have to remind you again that scholar, intelligent, fantastic scholar, he died about 1 year ago, 2 years ago. His name is Stephen Cohen, a Jewish by origin, very intelligent. He was a scholar of Russian studies. He was like 70-something, 70, I can't remember. He was very, very intelligent, very knowledgeable. I recommend you listen to him on YouTube and his, courses, and not only courses, but when he was invited in certain kind of capacities. He's very intelligent. Anyway, he was telling over there in one of his lectures or interviews, which I watched many of them, he said Russia thinks in centuries, plans in centuries. This is their worldview, talking about the leaders. The Americans think about the next election, 4 years, 3 years, 6 years, in terms of planning ahead. That's what he said. Now, you don't have to agree with him or with me, but think about it. And I think that this BRICS has been planned before it was organized, I think in 2006. That's when it was formed. I think it was way years before that when they said, you know what, we got to do something about it. They plan it. All right, let's go to the article now and see what these guys are saying. Lavrov, BRICS mulling own currency. Now, BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's an economic organization of developing economies. Right, so the matter is expected, so this is from today, the 25th. The matter is expected to be discussed at the bloc's upcoming summit in South Africa in August. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa may soon explore the possibility of creating their own currency within the framework of BRICS, an informal economic bloc comprised of these countries. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov raised the possibility during a visit to Angola, as he delivered a statement following a meeting with Angolan President João Lourenço. Lavrov explained that the currency is needed given that the mechanisms created and promoted by the West, such as the inviolability of property, the presumption of innocence, fair competition, and globalization, can be trampled upon at any time. Inviolability, that's what it is. And I'm quoting Lavrov. Serious, self-respecting countries are perfectly aware of what is at stake. Well, they saw how Russia was kicked out of all the SWIFT and all the economic and banking systems, how they were, imposed sanctions on them. I think they have about 11,000 sanctions or 15,000 sanctions against them. How they did the cap on their oil and all that. I mean, it's full economic and political war and military in Ukraine. This is why the Russian foreign minister continued. There is talk among the countries from the BRICS and the CELAC, Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, about establishing their own new currencies within the frameworks of these blocs. Oh my, that gets me back to what the newly elected president of Brazil, Lula, spoke with his Argentinian counterpart, and they said they want to put together a currency, a common currency called SUR, I think it's South. Venezuela said, we're in too. And then you got the American economists saying they will never be able to do that. Now, that's impossible to be achieved, blah, 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 because they don't want that to happen. Obviously, only the Europeans can have it, if you know what I mean. So let's go back to this article and finish it. And I'm quoting, this matter, for example, will definitely be discussed at the BRICS summit that is going to take place in South Africa in August, end quote. Lavrov said, adding that the high-ranking guests from African nations invited to that summit include President Lourenço. And that is what I read earlier about the little US dollar being unreliable, and they first have to deal economically with using their own currencies, but now that's a step ahead. They want to do that and start their own currency within the bloc. That's a big blow to the dominance of the US dollar, and even the Arabs. Remember, I covered that in about 2 days ago, an article from can't remember where it's from, Reuters, I think, and they were speaking about the Saudi Arabia. I can't remember, it was an official stating that Saudi Arabia is open and looks into allowing their oil to be sold in other currencies besides the US dollar. Can you imagine what that would mean? That would mean maybe a little regime change, you know what I mean? Because the Americans already went through their first two diplomatic tools that they have in their toolbox. Remember, they have only 4 nowadays. They don't have, negotiations. Nah, they don't have intelligence. They don't have, charisma. They don't have all that. They don't have bending here, giving, give and take. Now, after 1999, when the United States remained the sole leader of this country, of this globe, of this world, they employed 4 toolbox for their diplomatic abilities. 1, threats. 2nd, blackmail. 3rd, regime change. And the 4th, military bombardment or attack in invasion. That's it. 4. So they started two already with Saudi Arabia. So they're at the third stage, which is the Saudi Arabia Arabian Kingdom must be, something. So new currency, we'll find out. I'm pretty sure it's already has been discussed among these guys through different kind of channels, and they're already jogging, not with full speed. Once they meet, if they agree, they're going to be sprinting. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.